I'm ready. I'm Shawna Nicols, and I'm a DJ. I am a proud gay woman. I am a proud kid of the 414 in Milwaukee. I'm always gonna be a hooper. My childhood, it was full of laughter and love and music, and I remember a basketball was very evident and prevalent. There was a lot of music in my life. My mom sang a lot. We had music nonstop. My dad had music going, whether it was in the car or at home.
I always felt like music was really important to Shawna, even when she was younger. I can remember her asking a lot of questions about what's the name of the song.
6, 7 years old, I grew up on 45th and Valete here in Milwaukee. I did have a ball and a boombox. And I had my boombox on the porch plugged in, and I had the tape, Bobby McFerrin's tape that had the song Don't Worry, Be Happy on it. I would push play, grab my ball, run down the steps, the 4 steps there were, or whatever, and get to the sidewalk and just dribble, 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 dribble. That's all I did, just dribble. I had no idea what I was doing. Nobody ever trained me, but I was dribbling. Right hand, left hand, through my legs, behind my back, whatever. Dribble, 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 dribble. Song would end, I'd run back up on the porch, push rewind for that perfect amount of time, push play, and just do it again. And I just would get lost in that, just over and over and over and over again.
I remember moments where I was taken aback because I could see my daughter's awkwardness around some of her friends getting excited about hair and makeup and boys and flirting. I remember in 6th grade, and one of the exercises that they were going through as part of their curriculum was students would essentially, you're now graduating from high school, and you would pick out of a hat, are you going to a trade school? Are you going to college? Are you gonna go right into a career path? And I can remember Shawna coming home and just making comments here and there, like, why can't I pick being a professional basketball player as my career choice, Mom? My teacher told me I couldn't because I couldn't support it with documentation around another woman who was making her career path as being a professional basketball player. My daughter, in the most subtle way, began to express in a very safe manner that she wasn't necessarily comfortable with the way she was supposed to fit into all of these boxes. And I think that's when we started having conversations about relationships and intimacy and choices, and that it's okay to be different. It doesn't make you weird, it just makes you unique and very special.
Until 8th grade, I was at a private school and we wore a uniform. So there was a uniform for girls and for boys. And that was easy for me. Like, this is what you have to wear, this is what you do, this is it. I remember getting to high school my freshman year, and my aunt had taken me shopping, like back to school shopping. And I remember I walked into a very popular store at the time that I don't want to name because it's gonna really date me. And I remember looking at the girls' side and nothing really resonated with me. And I didn't like it, it didn't fit me right, it didn't make me feel good. And so I walked to the boys' side and I was like, I like this works for me. It didn't matter to me that it was boys' clothes or girls' clothes. It was like, this is what fits me and this is what I like. Through high school, that was just an issue for me to sort of overcome because, again, I wasn't in the norm. I just remember internalizing it and thinking about why, and wondering, why am I like this? How? Like, all those questions cross your mind as a kid. This kind of became a byproduct of how other people felt about me and my own insecurities, and I allowed that to sort of exasperate how I felt. This was like this just like shadow or this cloud just like hanging over me all the time, so I didn't really talk about it.
You know, a lot of people ask me when Shawna came out. We were driving after a game in Madison back home to Milwaukee, and it was, you know, a little over an hour drive, especially if I was driving. And I can remember my eyes were on the road, and Shawna said, Mom, I have something I want to share with you. And I should have let her tell the whole story, but instead I said, oh, is this when you're going to tell me that you're gay?
I think I realized that I was gay when I knew what the word actually meant. But I think when I realized what it was, then like a light bulb went off. That sounds silly, but you don't know until you know.
I just remember thinking, like, boy, am I relieved for her that she finally got that off of her chest.
Any negativity or pushback, if you will, that came with coming out and being gay, really has been pushed by the wayside. And, you know, I've had the most awful things you can imagine said to me, but they're from people who I don't even know their names sometimes. And so it definitely came down to my family, my core family, and they love me unconditionally, and nothing else matters. Madison was just an incredible space for me to be able to grow up gay, which may sound silly to some people, but it's just such an incredible city and university, and with a lot, for me, of diversity that I didn't have in my life before. And so it was a really good space for me to grow, and then sort of grow into my skin and be comfortable with who I am, and then share that with my friends and family. I was the first in my family to graduate college. Even when I was in grad school, as a 25, 26-year-old, I had no idea. I was getting my master's degree in communication, and I had no idea still what I was gonna do. I was literally playing basketball and just figuring it out as I went. Music, again, had always just been a part of my life. I made, you know, mixtapes as a kid. I was that kid that had my boombox and waited as those first 2 notes played to push record and literally make a mixtape, to making our warm-up CDs in high school, to even in college. And then obviously when I went on and played professional basketball, whatever I was listening to before pregame, like, music was just always such a huge part of my life.
I can't stop smiling. I'm excited to go back out and like get the stage ready for Lizzo. We're gonna turn it up another level. Thank you.
Every day I work on being a better version of myself and trying to share more and more. And again, it's vulnerable, and sometimes it's peeling back layers. But maybe you're inspired by that to then see how much you can peel back and share with the world. And I think we need a little bit more of that, a little bit more love, a little bit more authenticity.